Hey, Meghann Scully, and this is the Limerick Post Show Christmas special. First up, the top stories in Limerick, and the 8 days of Milk Market is currently taking place, meaning the Milk Market is open for business until Christmas Eve, so you can get all your local and Limerick Christmas presents. Next up, the University of Limerick have created a very special Coming Home for Christmas video, and here's a snippet of it.
Adiós. Yo también te echo de menos. Tengo muchas ganas de veros por Navidad.
Bye, Kayla. I gotta go. I'll see you in a few days.
See you in a few days. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir.
To see that video in full, head over to UL's social media. Next up to our Out and About section, and we headed over to the Crescent Shopping Centre where the LSAD have a pop-up shop. First up though, we chatted to Grace from SPICE Vintage all about sustainable shopping this Christmas. Limerick Post Show, we're here in SPICE and I am joined by the lady herself, Grace. Thank you so much for letting us into your amazing store.
No worries, I'm delighted, thank you.
Now, tell us first of all about SPICE and the concept behind it.
I suppose Spice Vintage started as a salvation project. Is that how you call it? For my unfulfilling career in marketing. So it was basically a fallback plan. I quit my job in marketing. I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, and I'd always thrifted, always sold secondhand clothes, like at markets and in college and stuff. And I just said, right, I'm just going to go for it. So I did. Started out in West Cork, and then after 6 months of a pop-up, I decided to come to Limerick because Limerick didn't have like a big vintage scene at the time. So that was 2 years ago now, and since I opened up the doors, it's been flying.
Now I have to talk about the pieces you have here because I'm obviously wearing a piece right now. Tell me about sourcing all the different items.
Yeah, so I travel myself all around Europe, LA. So I suppose in Europe it'd be England, Berlin, Amsterdam, Italy. Yeah, it's cool. Paris, and I go myself. My parents think I'm a lunatic because they're like, "Why are you going to these places on your own?" And I go and I handpick the stock myself because I'm very particular about the style that I'm trying to portray for the shop. And I just think vintage shops can be so packed, and I just think you can kind of tell when a vintage shop has been curated and handpicked because it's pieces as opposed to big chunks of the same thing. So. Yeah, I love it. It's my favourite. It's justified shopping. I love it.
Well, I love following you on Instagram, and I see you go on these buying trips, and you share your story of driving across, like renting a car, and then like and you're literally like, I'm going in now, and then like I'm literally there a couple hours later. You come out and you're like, wait, and you see, and then like, so what is the actual process like? I'm guessing, like in my head, I don't see what's inside. Is it like a big warehouse, and you're just going to pick?
It's a big warehouse, yeah. So it depends. It's a very underground industry. It's like kind of a bit stealth. I don't know why, but they kind of keep their cards close to their chest and they don't let everyone in. And it's a funny kind of industry. But I have my supplier. They're amazing, and I go in and it's literally like a football pitch size warehouse, and it's rummaging. It's so strenuous and like really like mentally exhausting because it's like every single piece you see in the shop now has gone through my hands, and I've thought about it. I've gone, what would I put this with? That's kind of how I buy, is like, how would I style this, and then that's kind of the elimination process, and then I go through it a second time for quality. So I check like for cleanliness and like buttons and zips, and it's tedious. Like, it takes me, I go in the morning at 8 hours solid non-stop. They call me the Irish Hurricane. They go, the Irish Hurricane is here, ready to rip the place apart, because I just be running around like just fecking everything everywhere because I'm under pressure because I have to fly, because I've obviously, I have to get my flight home. So it's a bit of crack as well, though. It's like when you finish the day, you're like, nailed it, So it's great. Yeah, I love it.
That's some serious shopping right there.
Oh yeah, serious. Like,
now, one thing I think we really need to touch on, especially coming up to Christmas, is about sustainability now and the fast fashion industry, which I think a lot of people are talking about. Like, it's something that actually really needs to be dealt with, like, here and now.
Yeah, completely. It's such a big thing at the moment, and I suppose people need to connect with it. And at the same time, I'm very funny with the whole sustainable fashion thing. I don't want it to be the driving force behind my business, because Spice would be here regardless of sustainable fashion, if it was a trend or not, or if it was important or not. Vintage clothes would still be happening, and as I said, the shop would still be here. But like, it's just one of those things. people need to slow down. That's what I always say. It's just a case of, obviously, the element of fast fashion. It's like the whole concept behind it is just slowing down, thinking. And I catch myself doing it. You probably do as well, as we wean ourselves off ASOS and all those online websites. I do it as well. But it's one of those things you just need to be like, do I need this? You know, and once you actually connect with that, you're like, I actually don't need it. Like, I've loads of stuff in my wardrobe that I can do stuff to. And upcycling is a big thing for sustainable fashion at the moment, as well as taking stuff in your wardrobe, bringing it to a dressmaker's, getting it upcycled and made into something different, customising it, doing something different to it. And apparently a big thing now with secondary school students is this clothes swapping thing that goes on Snapchat. Have you ever heard of this? So basically girls put up, like, you know, the way they go to discos, whatever, and they're wearing a dress, they put it up on their Snapchat, and then girls would message them from different schools, they've never even met these girls before, and be like, can I borrow your dress for next weekend? And then they'd be like, what do you have? And there's like this clothes swapping thing that's going on in secondary schools.
Cool.
Yeah, like just because of social media, not even because they're sustainably fashion minded or whatever. So it's becoming such a thing now, and people just need to not scaremonger each other. I said this to you as well. It's not like you're a bad person because you bought from Pretty Little Thing. You're not a bad person. It's just you need to buy less or don't do it at all, preferably. But it's just about like being kinder to each other and being like, just try really hard not to buy so much this Christmas specifically, but in general. It's just insane the amount of clothes that end up in landfills and incinerators, and people just think, oh yeah, it goes, you know, here, there. I heard recently, now I don't mean to be, there's an online fashion website, but I can't name them, but when they get returns, they just bin them. Yeah, they put them in a landfill. They don't even put them back out or do anything with them. Like, and the item could tag still on, someone just tried it on at home, didn't fit, so they sent it back to the website, and they basically just fling it in the bin. So it's more hassle to reprocess it or whatever. It's crazy.
Nearly better, like now you just mentioned there about upcycling. Maybe that's an opportunity from now on. We'll say if you do buy something online and it's not right, maybe think about upcycling it in some way.
Yeah, because even like returning it isn't even safe, as they say anymore. Yeah, but just think about it. Take your time with buying, and the upcycling thing is massive. Like, I paint my denim jeans. You've seen it on my Instagram, and like embellishing stuff is so easy. Bringing stuff to a dressmaker. I have a great lad in town. He turns it over in a day. He'll turn a dress into a 2-piece for me. Turn up a skirt and a suit in a day for $5. Like, it's not that expensive, but people just need to slow down, take their time with it, and not buy as much. Buy from charity shops. Buy from vintage shops.
Exactly, buy from Spice.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of fashion and trends, what do you think is going to be the look for the new year, or is there a look? Or do you think now people are actually getting more kind of like getting their own style now that they're not kind of following trends as much?
Yeah, I think that's exactly where it's going. I feel like people are being more and more concerned with individuality and being different, and I think it's even more important. I have girls messaging me all the time, will you paint this for me? Will you upcycle this for me? Do this? Because they don't want to be like everyone else. Whereas there was a period on, like with Instagram, you know yourself, girls were copying each other, and it's just gotten so saturated now that customization is where it's at. That's where I see 2020 being, customization completely. People are going to be making their own stuff and doing their own things to their clothes, and that's really the crack. Like, there's nothing better than wearing something that no one else will have, and then on top of that has that added element of a customization. So it's fab.
It is. It's unreal.
I really think it is.
But even with this, like, I bought this off you. I wore it as a dress originally during the summer, and obviously now winter time I'm wearing it as an oversized jacket. So like, and I got that inspiration off you as well. Now, one thing I want to touch on as well, and one final thing is, you have Instagram absolutely nailed. Like, I have to say,
thank you.
I am like, as I said, I bought a coat here last week off you, and I was like there online going through for ages, being like, please, because I find like you have to be so fast, otherwise you miss something. But you've built such an amazing kind of Instagram following, and I suppose a shop online as well, which is so cool to see.
Yeah, it's one of those things. When I was working in my marketing jobs, I always had these ideas for brands and for their Instagram accounts and all that stuff, and they never wanted to do anything. And I was always like, please just try this, it'll work. You know, no one ever wanted to do it. So when I started this, I said, right, I'm going to do everything on my terms and do everything that I always wanted to do, and never had the creative freedom, let's say, to do it when I was in my marketing job. So I just kind of, when I started Spice, and specifically with the Instagram, I wrote down everything that I don't like about vintage shops and their social media, and how Spice can remedy that on the other side of the page. And that's literally how it started. So like, you never get to see who owns the shop, you never get to see the person's personal style, who buys the clothes, you never get to see it. Just like you asking about the buying trips, no one knows how it works. Do you know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mystery.
Yeah, the mystery of it all. But at the same time, it's nice to give your customers an insight into what goes into it, because I do feel like sometimes Spice, I've been told Spice isn't expensive, but vintage shops can be expensive, and people need to know that there is a certain level of work that goes into it, and I just always wanted to showcase that. So it's that added element of letting people in and giving a personality behind the brand that's really kind of drove the Instagram and made people connect with it. And I suppose what you get is the persona that I'm putting out there on the Instagram is exactly the way I am in real life when you come in. And I just want people to come in, have a nice time, like feel like they're welcome. Vintage shops can be very cool and very cold, can't they? They come in, they go, oh, I don't know about you, you're not cool enough to be here. And I'm just like, that's so stupid. That's not what Spice is about at all. So just that kind of stuff, just doing it differently. And it's really paid off in terms of people connecting with what I'm doing and engaging with the brand. And then the selling on the stories, that's another thing. In terms of like vintage shopping, I always found I'm the one who's meant to know. It's so hard to style, because there's so much stuff when you go in, it's overwhelming. So that's why Spice isn't packed. And that's why I started styling outfits on the Instagram, and girls buy full outfits off me now, because it's a helping hand, and why not? Like, do you know? And it's creatively for me, it's a great time as well, because it keeps me busy doing outfits, and it gives it puts an image out into the world of the style that I'm trying to help people find through vintage clothing. It's making it more accessible, because it's hard.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely wonderful. I even love watching your styling too, because I'm like, that really works really well together.
Even if you're not buying, I've been told it's a great inspo kind of. Yeah, girls follow it because they go, well, I have a pair of mom jeans and I kind of have a vintage shirt like that at home. I'll put them together and I'll put a corset over it like Gracie did, whatever. Like, it's mad to talk about myself like that, but it's helping, and that's it's all contributing to something positive, which is trying to get people to engage in second-hand clothing, because it's fun, it's different, and no one else will have it. And it's just completely taken up. Girls are wearing vintage now because of Spice. Yeah, I've been told they'd never. One girl was like, I used to only ever shop in Zara because everyone did, and she's like, now I only buy off you.
Brilliant. That's incredible feedback for you. Grace, I have to say, thanks so much for letting us into your amazing store here in Limerick City. And I can't wait to see more of the stories and more of the fashion.
Thank you.
We're here in the Crescent Shopping Centre, where the LSAD pop-up shop is, and I'm joined by Mike. How incredible is it to have all this artwork here for sale in Christmas week in the Crescent?
It's really fantastic. It's it came out of pretty much the blue in a sense. John Davitt, the Crescent shopping manager, called me a couple of weeks ago and said there was this opportunity coming up. And then as it comes to the kind of the end of the year, everybody's doing everything. But I kind of reached out and talked to a couple of people. One of them was Anne McBride, who's meant some. Well, actually, this is some of her work. This amazing ceramic work, and she kind of very quickly started connecting with people, saying who was interested, who had work, and it's actually quite really nice, because it's actually almost all graduates, so they're out in the world, but they're still very connected to LSAD, and being here is amazing. I mean, just the crowds are phenomenal, and we're here in the very quiet moment. I'm glad that you're holding those people back. It's quite amazing, because I suppose I don't get to spend much time here, but I didn't realise that literally tens of thousands of people come here every day, and what's really lovely about it is they step in here for a moment of tranquility, but also some of them are buying some artwork as well. But it's also kind of we're meeting kind of a whole new audience of people that know about the art school or whatever, but now they have a chance to see some of the work and talk to because there's two people here all the time, two of the artists invigilating, and they're very keen to just chat about what they're doing and the work. So it's been a really, really interesting time. For me, it's been a revelation, because I realised that what a fantastic way to spread the word of LSAD, and also the connectivity with past students who are past graduates who want to be connected with the gallery. So a big thank you to the Crescent Shopping Centre.
What an amazing idea, though. Like, talk about turning a negative into positive. Empty shops.
Yes.
And, no one likes to see them empty, but putting pop-up shops of local artists and people that went to LSAD, like, it's an incredible initiative.
And it's quite amazing because from the time we actually kind of decided we had to get a couple of people who were interested in doing it, like literally kind of came in, and I came out and the thing was pretty much all hung, and it looks great. So and when it went from being, when you rip out a shop, it looks all messed up, and suddenly we came back and it's all clean, and then within a few hours, like about 4 hours, it was this. So it is fantastic, and actually people walking in and say, "Oh, it's a great gallery." Yeah. So it becomes something new straight away, and because we're kind of said, this would be a nice idea. We'd love to come back again. Anyway, no, but it is really interesting that there is these opportunities, because I think the Crescent Shopping Centre, like other places, it's a whole experience, and people want to experience, and actually occasionally not being gingering in any way, but some men have found their way in here. Some women have said, "Oh, I need to escape from the whole shopping thing." But I think a good shopping centre wants to have a good environment, so it's really pleasant. So it's kind of nice to move between it, and luckily, quite a number of people have sold really nice work as well. So a little bit, if you want, for the Christmas, and we'll be here right up to Christmas and maybe just a little bit beyond it.
It's absolutely incredible. As you said, everything here is for sale. I know a lot is already sold. So, what an opportunity to come down and to get a piece of art from a local artist.
And what's fantastic, some people have just come and said, "I need to take it now." So it's like everything must go, and it is going. So there's some lovely things here, and there's one or two things here I'd like to get, and I'm going to see can I get a last minute bargain or whatever. I doubt it. I think they'll charge me more, but that's fair enough.
Well, I have to tell you, I genuinely look forward to seeing more pop-ups like this throughout the year, all across Limerick City and County.
Okay, listen, thanks for the support. We very much hope so. And I'm sure this Will would like some work for the Post. Yeah. Yeah.
We'd love some artwork in the Post.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you so much for chatting to the Limerick Post Show.
Thank you very much.
Joining me now in the Urban Garden, it's Joe Cleary from Mr. Binman. How are you getting on?
Good to see you, Meghann.
Now, very busy time for you guys, of course, with everything that's happening across Christmas, but you have a special message you want to get out there.
Yeah, we have a special message this Christmas. We're sponsoring the Christmas Racing Festival in Limerick Racecourse, and it's going to be the first green racing festival in Ireland. So what that entails is we're encouraging people to recycle and compost on site, but also all the suppliers have come on board, so we're getting rid of plastics. We're getting down into getting compostable cups. We're come back using glassware in the bars and all that. So there's a big investment. All the suppliers have come on board, where there'll be buses running to and from the city for the days of the race as well. So reduce that carbon footprint, and we're even looking for people maybe even to carpool on the day. Why not get the carbon footprint down at the festival? So it's the first time it's been tried in Ireland, first green racing festival in Ireland, and we're very proud to be part of it.
Can you tell us what date it's on?
Yeah, so Limerick Racing Festival is running for 4 days from the December 26th, and there's some great days of racing, some great fun, and it's really part of Limerick culture nearly at Christmas now. We're expecting over 40,000 visitors this year, so it's great for the Limerick economy.
Now, what message as well would you have for people? Obviously, Christmas time, there is a lot of waste when it comes to presents and everything.
Yes. So, we're encouraging everybody to recycle all their packaging, to reduce packaging where possible. And even one of the messages we were delivering to a lot of customers this year is simple things like rechargeable batteries. Yeah. Don't get the disposable batteries. Get something that's rechargeable. If you get a gift that you don't want, don't throw it into the bin. Maybe you re-gift it or give it to charity and things like that. So we're hoping that we can reduce waste this Christmas.
And do you find that people of Limerick City and County are taking well to kind of recycling in the different bins?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely improved, and especially we've been pushing a lot of our customers into food waste, reducing the food waste, taking the food waste out of the general waste bin. That makes a huge difference. It makes a big difference on their cost and on their amount of their bill, but also environmentally, you're getting rid of that food is being composted and it can be put back into gardens like this.
Absolutely wonderful space. Joe Cleary, Mr. Binman, thank you so much for chatting to us.
Thanks, Meghann. Happy Christmas.
It was Christmas Eve, babe, the drunk tank, and the old man said to me, I want to see another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old Mountain Dew, turn my face away. And I dreamed about you. God, I'm the lucky one. Came in 18 to 1. I've got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas. I love you, baby. Won't see a better time when all our dreams come true. They've got cars big as bars, they've got rivers of gold, but the wind blows right through you, it's no place for the old. When you first took my hand on the cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You were handsome, you were pretty, Queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they held out for more. Sinatra was singing, all the drunks they were singing. We kissed on the corner, then danced through the night. The boys in the NYPD choir were singing Galway Bay, and the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day. And so this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, and a new one's just begun. And so this is Christmas. I hope you have fun, for the near and the dear one, ooh, the old and the young. And so happy Christmas, ooh, and a happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one, without any fear. Ooh, the boys in the NYPD choir were singing Galway Bay, and the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day.
For these stories and so much more, head over to limerickpost.ie/show. I'm Meghann Scully. This is the Limerick Post Show, keeping Limerick posted. And Cian and I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas.